Tonight we'll talk to a philatelist who collects remarkable stamps depicting the life of Mary. In our teen segment, Dream Analysis is the topic for discussion. And Father Pat Lavin shares how a smile can be your umbrella. All this next on Catholic Magazine.
With your window on your world, good evening everyone. This is Catholic Magazine. I'm Paul Pirillo.
And I'm Pat Shelton. Good evening. What's on the show tonight, Paul?
Well, first of all, coming up on our program, we'll travel up our alley to learn a little bit about dreams.
The Virgin Mother has been commemorated in many, many art forms, which brings us to legacy. Now, all you philatelists, gather around the television because tonight's legacy is about stamps.
Welcome back to Legacy. I'm C. Adrienne Murphy, and today we're going to take a microcosmic look at a very large story. If you are not, as I am not, one of the 10 million philatelists in this country, you'll be unfamiliar with thematic collections, something which was introduced to me by Suzanne Haney, who is a philatelist, author, and researcher. Suzanne showed me a collection which is the life of the Virgin Mary in stamps. Suzanne, now I understand the opener for a collection does not have to be a stamp itself, but everything else is a stamp, a postmark, or something associated.
That is true. That is true. In this case, a 16th century parchment of Our Lady of Guadalupe was used on the cover.
Now, this is a whole block. This is not a single stamp.
That is true. In 1867, the Governor General of the British Virgin Islands needed a new stamp, not knowing that they had not been named for the Virgin Mary.
I didn't know that.
That's true. They were named for St. Ursula and the Virgin Martyrs. He sent to England, and Murillo's Immaculate Conception was used for the stamp.
Now this has a mistake.
That is true. There is an elongated S that is used in the plate of this stamp. This is what is called a plate, which is used for printing, and in this case, this is the only known complete plate page of that particular stamp.
So that's not just rare, that's unique.
That is true.
Wow. Now, this moves through all the phases of Mary's life.
That is true.
And now we're looking at Mary's parents and birth.
That is true. In the Papal States used stamped impressions to indicate various, the city or the diocese or the particular individual that was mailing it.
But a stamp, a stamped item rather than a stamp itself.
That is true. In this case, it is the birth of the Virgin, and this is from 1866 and was a Papal State stampless cover. Most countries by that time had moved into using stamps, but because of free franking and other privileges, the Papal States continued them later.
That's when they were still using sealing wax, isn't it?
That is true. That is true.
You talked a little bit about Poland before. These moved me tremendously when you explained what this was. These are from World War II, from the prisoner of war camps.
Yes, the Wardenburg Polish prison camp, along with the other prison camps for Polish prisoners, issued stamps, and in many cases they were religious. In this particular issue, this is the essay, which is the original design, the proof, the stamp itself, and an obliterated stamp, as well as the postal cards and postcards with an affixed stamp that were used in the prison camp.
Now I see something else here I hadn't expected to see, which is a forgery.
That is true. In the 19th century, many collectors just wanted a stamp to fill a space, and there were forgeries issued, and in this case, in 1888, the British Virgin Islands stamp, again of the Immaculate Conception and of Mary, was issued as a forgery, and this is a complete plate along with the original stamp itself for comparison purposes.
Now, we still see Mary in stamps today, of course, and the colors are much more intense and the variety wider. These are beautiful. There's one here just with a rosary.
Yes, for the Marian year in 1954, Spain issued a series of stamps of the Rosary, which is particularly nice because, of course, it is the complete story of the Christian faith from and using the life of Mary. And also on this particular page, there is a papal, not really a papal state because it's after the reunification of Italy, but a franking which uses Mary and the infant Jesus both carrying a rosary.
I have a new respect for philatelists. I would say that prior to this, my favorite stamps were on envelopes containing paychecks, but these are beautiful. They're art, And lithography, I understand,
That is true.
the art mode represented through stamps.
Well, as well as engravings and other methods of reproduction.
Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing this with us today.
Thank
and
you.
Please join us next time when we'll look at another unusual collection.
Dreaming of a white Christmas, dreaming that someday your prince may come. Do you remember last night's dream, or for that matter, what it meant? Well, dreams have often confused us. Are they just images that are conjured up in our mind, or are they a reflection of something that happened or something that will occur? Let's find more about dreams. Find out more about dreams right now, up our alley.
What happens at night when we go to bed? Oh sure, we lay down, close our eyes, and fall asleep. But that's not exactly what I mean. Did you ever stop to think what actually occurs during those 8 hours when we are asleep? If asked, some people would say nothing, while others could give detailed accounts of experiences and adventures that are as vivid as if they actually occurred. What are these episodes that are played out for us? Are they just simply pictures, or can they actually give us some insight into our spiritual selves? Dreams, their mystery, message, and meaning for today's teens. All tonight, up our alley.
Up Our Alley is a forum which gives Catholic youth from the Delaware Valley an opportunity for expression and education through discussion. Now let's join Sue and her friends in the alley.
Hello again, and thanks for joining us up our alley. I'm your host, Sue Toma. Let me introduce to you the people joining us tonight in the alley. First, to my right, we have Dr. Marita Digney, who's a Jungian analyst and who also operates a private practice in Philadelphia for dream analysis. To my left are, from the Diocese of Camden, Christian Botham and Perry Espardinez. We also have Amy Picharel and Melanie Imperato from Philly. And last but not least, to my right, we have Kara Konstranen. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, Kara. And Paul Wendell, also from the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. Thanks everyone for being with us. What really happens to us from the time we turn out the light and go to bed until the time the alarm clock wakes us up the next day? Most people couldn't tell you, while others would say that they dreamed or they had some kind of thing play out in their mind. The fact is that everyone dreams. The reality is that most of us just don't remember what happens. Is the reason we don't recall our dreams just a natural occurrence, or could it be linked to the hidden messages or meanings that are in the dreams? Well, let's see what you guys think. We all know that everybody dreams, okay? Scientists have proven that. But do you ever remember your dreams?
Yeah, I remember a good percentage of them. Well, maybe not a good percentage, but usually I'll remember at least a dream a night.
Okay.
And I think it's a lot of fun because you get to think about it in the morning in the shower, and
Okay.
I just have a good time.
Are they usually all good dreams, or are some of them bad?
Some of them are about bad subjects,
Okay.
but you know, they tell me something about my life. I like use them if I'm trying to make a decision.
Okay, are the dreams usually related to something that might be happening in your life at that point?
Yeah,
or-
usually. Usually the people in my dreams are people that I've associated with in, you know,
Okay. Okay.
past time.
Okay. Anybody else? Do you ever remember your dreams in the morning when you wake up?
Yeah, usually, yeah, I do. Sometimes I think that it has a lot to do with what's going on with my life at that time. And I just try to figure out, you know, if it's really in my mind, it's sticking in my mind the whole day. I'm like, wow, what did that mean? And I'll just think about it, and sometimes it'll dawn on me what it's about. So.
I sometimes just remember certain objects or colors or certain feelings I got like in the dream, and that'll stick with me all day, and I'll think about that, like whether I saw a specific person or just an object.
Okay, do you ever have the same dream over and over again?
Yeah, I've had dreams that I've had since I've been a little girl. I remember them when I was a little girl, and then I'll have them as I get older, and they change slightly, but they're the same thing. I'll remember the same feeling I had when I was little.
Okay. Dr. Digney, what about recurring dreams? Or do they mean anything for us?
Yeah, they really do. A recurring dream is actually the most important dream. It's a dream telling us something about ourselves that we haven't quite understood yet. We haven't quite let in. So it repeats it and repeats it. And may tell it in a slightly different way. Often we, when people have war traumas or some trauma in their life, that repeats in a dream because it's a little hard to let that all in at one time. But other times dreams just come, there's one motif that tells us a lot about our life and it repeats and repeats, and sometimes when we get it, then it goes away.
So it would repeat until we get the message that it's trying to tell us?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you think that when you dream and then when you wake up in the morning, that dream that you might have had the night before has an impact on your day? I think, Carrie, you alluded to that you like to think about it.
Exactly, yeah. I think, because it's usually about what is bothering me or what's on my mind, so the next day I'll be able to, think, well, this is what happened in the dream, maybe that's what's going to happen in life. But it doesn't always work.
Okay, anybody else?
I find a lot of the dreams that I end up remembering, I can only really remember in the morning, and then as soon as I get on with my day, like I'm in school and stuff, I end up losing a lot of them. So I don't know, I can't always associate them with what's going on that day. Like I tend to lose them in the course of the day.
Okay. Why wouldn't we remember a dream?
Yeah, that's such a wonderful phenomenon, this around remembering our dreams. It's almost as if something comes from a different land or through a veil, as talked about in old times. The dreams come from a part of our brain, obviously, but a part of our mind that we don't have access to in the waking day. Our conscious mind is very outer oriented, and so we're stimulated and we're paying attention and we're thinking and talking. And it's only with the quiet of night, the ego, the conscious mind quiets, and then it's as if this drama goes on.
It's almost as if the gates are open and here it all comes.
Mm-hmm. And in that play that we tune into, we're both and in some ways we're the audience and we're in it. In some dreams, every aspect of that, every person and object is an aspect of ourselves. We don't actually perhaps dream about this person chasing us. It's maybe an aggressive part of ourselves that is trying to get our attention.
Okay. As far as, I guess you've all had recurring images in your dreams. People, places, things. Anybody want to share any one thing that they might have? An object that recurred or a person?
I have that first day of school kind of dream, and I have this one teacher who really freaks me out. And I would find that she would be in my dreams a lot. So I finally got up my nerve and I went and talked to her about how the relationship that we had, and I found that helped a lot. I stopped having the dream. So.
I have a question about nightmares.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever had one.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean anything, or?
Okay. First, maybe we should establish, I guess, what the difference is between a dream and a nightmare.
Yeah.
Well, there are dreams that are quite scary, and they get that name, nightmare. Mm-hmm. There are such things that children experience, and some adults that are called night terrors. And in those, there's a whole lot of physiological. You wake up like kind of gasping. That's a separate thing that has more of a neurological base. But a real classic, typical nightmare where you might be chased or trapped or running and can't move. You may wake up from it in a start, afraid. What I would see that as an analyst, it's aspects of ourself in terrible conflict. There's part of us that might be the most gentle, loving part, and there'd be another part that is so angry. And these two don't quite know how to get along in ourselves, and they might produce a battle, in a dream. Or a child that has to grow away from its close association to its mother. That's very frightening, but it's very natural and very important. So it might come out as a dream of a nightmare where mommy's on another piece of ice. I actually know of this dream from a child. The child's on one piece of ice and the mommy's on another piece drifting away in the cold, Well, that's sort of what it felt like. And for a few days, that little girl was a little more shy and a little quieter and just a little scared, but she was dealing with growing apart from mommy.
Amy wasn't sure if she actually had ever had a nightmare. Is it possible?
Quite possible. Mm-hmm. Quite possible. That's just never, a situation's not presented in the outside that you're not ready for, that you've been okay with each life step. Doesn't mean you'll never have one, or that the conflicts haven't been that great, or you've been comfortable in solving them, or it's maybe more okay for you to accept a wider part of yourself. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong if you're having them, and it doesn't mean there's anything wrong if you don't.
Do you guys think there's any way you can maybe remember your dreams easier?
I don't think there's any way you can. Sometimes if you're woken up early, if somebody startles you and wakes you up at a quick time, you can remember them easily. But there's really no way. I mean, one day you'll remember it, and the next day it won't even cross your mind that you dreamt at all. So there's really no way, I don't think.
Yeah, I thought dreams were like subconscious, and is there a connection between the subconscious mind and the conscious mind to remember a dream by?
That's right. Dreams are a product of what we call the unconscious, and that is an aspect of the mind. People find that by talking about their dreams to someone, that helps the recall. Some families always talk about their dreams in the morning, or some native people, tribal people tell their dreams in the morning, and they tend to remember them more. Writing them down is a wonderful way to stimulate the unconscious. And it's as if there's a part of your mind that's creative and bigger and wider than your conscious mind, and it's kind of saying to it, I'm paying attention to you. I don't understand everything that's coming out, but I'm going to write it down. Get yourself a journal. What a treasure that would be when you grow up to see your teenage dreams, you know. And and drawing, you know, dreams sort of come in pictures, really, when you think about it. It's like a whole lot of pictures. And if you can just draw them, get the color or the feeling tone, it's a very good thing to do, especially if there's a bad feeling in a dream, to draw it, and then, you know, that gets it out somehow without hurting yourself or anyone else. But those things, drawing, talking about them, writing them, they can all encourage your dream recall.
Do you guys think that there's any way you can control what you dream?
I think there is.
Actually, like before you go to bed at night, say that I would really like to dream about this, and do you think that would work?
I don't know, but like, I think you can control your dream during the dream, because I've done that before. I would be in the middle of somewhere, and something would come after me, and I would like defeat it, and then go to some peaceful far-off land.
I think that sometimes if you say to yourself, okay, I want to dream this, it'll work sometimes. They say that if you go to sleep thinking about something, it'll help you it'll clear your mind, and you'll be able to think about it more clearly. But I've done exactly what he's done, try to control it by moving myself away from the situation.
I've done that too, like realized I was dreaming in a dream, and it was very interesting.
I know there's some common images that we all see in dreams, like people, objects, maybe falling, and these kind of things. Can they tell us anything about our spiritual selves, do you think, as far as our growth and development?
I think that dreams are different for every stage of life, so as you get older, your dreams are going to have more significance in what you're doing at that time, and things are going to affect you more. So if you're having a nightmare or a good dream, there's something in there that's at your point in your life. It means something.
Should dreams frighten us, do you think, or should they just be messages?
Well, I know that I've had dreams. I've had a dream where, like, my mother was telling me, well, you have to go die. And I think of that as, I don't think of it as a nightmare, because I woke up and I was like, oh, I was real scared, but I learned a lot from it. I just thought it was a really neat dream, and I really liked that a lot. And I think you can learn a lot from even your bad dreams.
I don't think you should be afraid of dreams at all.
Yeah, I find you can actually, if you just really listen to like what, it's like, it seems like someone is trying to tell you something a lot of times when you have a dream. And if you listen, it can really help a lot. If like, usually it is something in your life that's on your mind at that moment that seems to come up or reoccurs like a lot. And if you listen to what that other side of you is trying to tell you, it can be very helpful.
Okay. Dr. Dini, about the 30 seconds we have left, what can dreams tell us about our spiritual selves and our development?
Very often the dream will present an image that we wake up different because we've dreamed it. It could be a circle or a sphere or a path. There's what's called a numinous dream, and that is a treasure. It could be a diamond, some image, a child sometimes, is an image of our very highest self, and those dreams are treasures that can sustain us and nourish us. They're so unique and special, we can just remember them anytime we want. So that's one thing. It can acquaint us with the higher side of ourselves. There's lots more, but not in 30 seconds.
I'm sure there's lots. We can keep going on and talking about dreams. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. I just want to thank all my guests for being with us in the alley, Dr. Digny, and all you guys for being with us. And I want to thank you at home for joining us again. We've learned a lot about dreams, and unfortunately we could probably go on and on. But just as words are the language of the day, dreams are the pictures of the night, images which can tell us a lot about ourselves and our future. There will always be those who remain skeptical as to the value of dreams. But for those who believe in their power, dreams just may be the hidden path which leads us to our hidden selves and our souls. Until we meet next time up our alley, we hope all your dreams are pleasant ones. Good night.
Let a smile be your umbrella on a rainy, rainy day. And that little musical segue brings us to a gentleman who makes us all smile, Father Pat Lavin. And his topic tonight is smiles.
Hi, Father Pat. How are you?
Hi, Carol. How are you doing today?
Good, thanks.
Karen, how's it going?
Okay, Father Pat. How are you?
Well, I have a little problem. Do you think the doctor could take care of me today?
I'm sure he can.
Beautiful. Have you ever had one of those days when everything seems to go wrong? Well, a couple of weeks ago, I had the privilege of going down to visit a friend of mine who lives in Atlantic City, and I sat down on his couch, and it's one of those lovely couches that kind of wrap around you and engulf you. The kind where you can really relax, and it's the worst thing you could do if you have a bad back like myself, because if you really relax, that is called trouble. And so the fifth lumbar snapped down onto the sacrum. My legs wouldn't cooperate, and I managed to get myself out of the apartment and into the car and drive the long miles from Atlantic City to Riverton to Apple Chiropractic Center, where one of my friends, who was a student of mine from Rutgers University in Camden, is Dr. Dan Fuser. He's a miracle worker.
Hi, Father Pat. You ready to get started?
Hi, Dan. How's it going?
Tremendous.
I could use your help today.
No problem.
That's done.
There you go, Father Pat. That ought to take care of you.
Oh, thank you very much,
Tell you what,
Doctor.
I'll see you at the end of the week. Reschedule with Carol and take care.
Okay, fine.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. He is a miracle worker, I'll tell you. 2 years ago, when I came here for the first time, it was shortly after my mother Blanche died, and I threw my back out, and I was going on a cruise, and Dr. Fuser had the grand total of 3 days to work on me. But I'll never forget lying down on this table for the first time. And I looked up to the ceiling, and I saw that sign that says, "Keep smiling." And I said, "What's there to smile about? I'm in pain." And as I laid there, I looked up at that "Keep Smiling," and I was thought of Mom, and I could picture her with all the family standing around the piano in my grandmother's apartment on the second floor of the police station in Philadelphia. And they were singing that old song, "Let a smile be your umbrella on a rainy, rainy day." You know, Blanche may be dead, but she comes back to life in simple things, like a smile on a chiropractic ceiling that says, "Smile."
Hi, Father Pat. How are you today?
Hi, Barbara. How are you doing, hon?
Good, thanks.
What do you have for me in there today?
We have some wonderful things for you today.
I can't wait to go in. I just have to tell you, I'm following my brother John's advice and buying a smile in a vase. So I've come here to Rick Cunio's Cherry Hill Flower Barn. Come on in, Mus. My brother John introduced me to the writings of a Vietnamese Buddhist monk who wrote a little book entitled "Peace is Every Step." And in that book was a section called "The Dandelion Has My Smile." The Buddhist monk suggests that you and I should have some kind of a reminder around us when we wake up in the morning, be it on a dresser or in a bathroom or hanging from the ceiling. He said, because if we see that, we'll remember that it's necessary to smile. Smile with oneself and with people for the rest of the day. My brother John has In his lifetime, recent years as a matter of fact, he suffered through Hodgkin's disease and a quadruple heart bypass. During that time, he saw the great light twice. And John today, in order to remind himself to smile in the morning and to accept the creation of God and the beauty of man, he reminds himself by putting in his bathroom a little vase. And in that vase, he has something as simple as a dandelion or as beautiful as a rose. And that's why I'm here today. My brothers and sisters, as we enter this season, I ask you to keep a smile on your face, because it's so easy to get edgy. It's so easy. Keep the smile and bring a little bit of life into the world around you. Until you invite me into your home again, I'm Father Pat Lavin, and I ask you to keep on with your song. By the way, how much is this rose?
Oh, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. I was going to sing, but I decided not to. You did.
It's not so easy when the camera's on, is it,
You're
Paul?
just a ham. You're just a ham. You should hear when we're not taping.
We have a good time singing off camera. Well, Christmas is almost
just a few weeks.
here.
Yep.
And I understand you're one of those people that go all out with the decorations.
All out.
Is it worth a drive down to South Philly to see your house?
Definitely. And you'll know my house by the Walt Whitman Bridge. That's all I'll tell you. You just drive over the Walt Whitman Bridge and
we'll
you
have
pass
to
that expressway.
figure out which one it is.
You can't miss it.
Okay.
That wraps up this edition of Catholic Magazine. Until next week, I'm Paul Pirello.
And I'm Pat Shelton. Hope to see you next week. Good night.
Good night.
We welcome your comments, suggestions, and donations and encourage you to write us at Catholic Magazine, St. Charles Seminary, 1000 East Wynwood Road, Overbrook, PA, 19096, or call us during regular business hours at 668-9842. SEP materials for Catholic Magazine provided by Tague Lumber Incorporated, serving the Delaware Valley for over 75 years. And by John Wanamaker, fine stores in the Delaware Valley. Legacy with C. Adrian Murphy is brought to you through the courtesy of the Joseph Grayton Institute at Old St. Joseph's National Shrine.